We'll go down H-Town and good morning. Up here at my job, but I want to talk about conspiracies and well, not necessarily conspiracies, but just weird events and weird things that's one of my managers, Mighty Seller. You know what I'm saying? But now, you know, I just find it weird that on especially on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like yesterday, my boy Ed Hunter, aka Sauce Nation, excuse me, he went live, and reason why I say, I think there's things going on with the with YouTube and whatnot. They whenever you and I just want y'all to try to notice this, you know what I'm saying? Whenever whenever you like if you're on somebody else's live feed, you know what I'm saying, like certain things you can say, it's like certain things you can say and certain things like on a live feed, certain things you can type and certain things you can't, like certain shit as soon as you hit the send and whatnot, it'll just disappear. And I always wondered why, and I feel like they got Kareem Jackson on, talking about, what I'm saying, all day already. You know what I'm talking about? But nah, like whenever if you type in, like something too detailed, or something that you like for instance, I'm probably one of the only Texans fans that's on YouTube, that would really jump for joy and probably do a fucking cartwheel if my phone alert went off and they said that Houston has made a trade with the Steelers, for Martavis Bryant. I'd probably be the only Texans fan that would be jumping for joy and wouldn't be upset, if we had to give up, picks like say a third rounder from next year, and or say a third from this year and next year, and potentially a player, I wouldn't be all that fucked up about it. Why? Because looking at looking at looking at Rick Smith, how it how looking at him, because that's where it starts. First, he's proven in the first and second round he can get quality players, with the exception of DJ Swearinger. Well, I believe Swearinger is developed into a decent player. I just me personally, I think he still has issues wrapping up and tackling, but I mean overall he's developed a little better, as far as being a coverage safety, as far as him being the hard hitting safety, that ain't went nowhere, but I mean, like I said, outside of him, not they. He hasn't really just been able to hit on anybody outside of the second round, and it's like what the fuck, So if you can use those picks to get a player that can produce, like a Martavis Bryant, now you pair him up with Hopkins and Fuller, who is supposedly supposed to be back at practice. I really don't want him to play, because I want him to be back at full strength. I don't want him to go back out there and then re-injure and then be on IR, basically pull a JJ. I don't want him to do that. But no, back to the originals, what I was talking about at first, when if you type something like that, like, I would like, Houston to trade for Martavis Bryant, and go into this specific details, that YouTube will just like, it's like it's filtered somehow, and I hate that shit. It's like they still trying to silence, the fans that actually have, a real perspective on what a team should look like. It's like they want to silence us, because they're like, oh, no, 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 it's not the Texans' turn to just be great or be a dominant team, you know what I'm saying? And that's not me as a fan. I'm like, fuck that. That's not fair. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the best, you know, I want to see the best product from the team, and like it or not, regardless of how much you guys may slander me or, not in your videos or anything like that, even off camera, just be like, man, that dude full of shit. Or just thinking that, these third round picks that I would like to trade, are just, like they're like, you're not gonna like looking at Rick Smith's history, odds are he's not gonna find another Brandon Brooks in the third round. You know what I'm saying? That probably isn't gonna happen, like I said, man, that I don't really just see that happening, so, just, if I'm Rick, I'll just do what you do well. You know what I'm saying? Use your first 2 round picks, and get you, 2 good players, and like I said, if you can, like I say, you got to be able to manipulate the system of the league. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, Bill has figured it out and has mastered it. And it's like not only is the front office, but it's like the front office is scared to do of the Texans. They're scared to, make a move like that. The fans are just skeptical about it because for some reason they seem to think that we're gonna just, land a solid gold gem in the third round. Like come on, Texans fans, y'all need to wake up. Like, this is the reality of what it is. Rick Smith does not get good players past the second round. So again, why keep those picks? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not bargain or trade, trade them for a player that can produce? Now, let's look at offense, say we do bust that trade. Say for, Cushion and 2/3. Now you have Nuke Hopkins, Martavis Bryant, Will Fuller, who you can put him on the shelf and say, just heal. We got this. Just heal up. You're going to be valuable to this team still, but we just need you to heal first. You know what I'm saying? So now you got Hopkins, Martavis Bryant, Fuller when he comes back healthy, and Bruce Ellington. Mind you, I said it. We have plays in our playbook to where we can run a 4 wide receiver set. Like I said, looking at our tight end situation, seeing how a deal hasn't been made to, get Gary Barnidge yet for some reason. I don't know how or why. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like the coaching staff, and that's actually a part of the Texans. And I don't believe in Ryan Griffin. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't see what they see in him. I see a 6'6" dude. That's it. There's nothing special about him. He drops passes. He's not overly athletic. He can get separation. He's not gonna run away from anybody. Like, he's not effective in the run game or the pass game. You know what I'm saying? Like in pass protection, or run blocking, he's not effective in those areas. So what is the purpose of him being there? I believe in Steven Anderson more than him, and that's just because Steven Anderson has more athletic and more raw talent than he does. You know what I mean? I don't understand why Gary Barnidge isn't on the roster. If you look at the difference between him and CJ Fedorowicz, there really isn't, I didn't mean to say different, but, when you look at those 2 tight ends, they really the same. The only difference is Barnidge is maybe a little faster, and he runs way better routes. You know what I'm saying? He's basically a faster Jason Witten. You know, in my opinion, that's what Gary Barnidge would bring to the Texans. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like I said, man, it's just weird and funny how when you type these type of things on YouTube, how that shit just get erased. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it, man. Also, another move that I wouldn't mind Houston making, you know, like I said, looking at our secondary, man, if the Saints really want to get rid of Kenny Vaccaro, Houston needs to bust that trade too. Like I said, this should be the year where Rick should really be wheeling and dealing because, like I said, look at the roster we have now. Who can cover Gronk effectively? AG's gone. He's in Jacksonville. So who's gonna cover Gronk successfully? Not to mention you still have Chris Hogan and Brandon Cooks. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Kenny Vaccaro just comes in and, can cover all of those guys. But from a analytic aspect, at least when it comes to, first and second down, where those downs may be run plays, that your safeties, at least one of your safeties can come up or be in the box, and that he can tackle and he can hit. That he's not gonna, be one of those guys that just, he runs into a guy and then the guy bounces off of him, but I'm coming up on 12 minutes, so, as per usual, like, sub, and peace, and, just give me y'all overall thoughts on, on all this, what's going on YouTube and all that. But I'm out.